Hello and welcome. Today we're gonna do my staple or stinker. And we have Cole with us, who is a YuGiOh VTuber. Tell us about yourself a little.
Hello, my name is Craze Cole or just Cole. I play a variety of games on Twitch, mostly Yu-Gi-Oh and Overwatch. But yeah, uh, I I know a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh. I know hardly anything about any other games, any other card games. So yeah,
Yeah, so we're going to be rating some Hearthstone cards today. Is there anything you know about Hearthstone at all?
the only thing I really know about Hearthstone is I've heard of it. I know there is the mana mechanic, but I don't know how it works.
Okay, so I'll give you a quick rundown of the rules of the game right now. Okay, so for our first card, we have Cruel. Cruel is an 8 mana 7/7 minion. At the end of each turn, gain +1/+1.
8 mana, 7/7 minions. So seven attack damage, 7 health. I'm guessing.
Yes,
Okay, and you require 8 mana to play it.
yes.
Um,
So you can play it on turn 8 in most decks, but in most of the time. Player 2 does start with a coin, which gives 1 mana only once for 1 turn extra.
okay. The end of
And
the turn.
yeah,
+1/+1.
it's at the end of each turn though, so
Oh, it's at the end of each turn.
yes,
Okay, it's not
yes,
just the
yes,
end of
yes.
yours. Okay. Um. Uh, a bit. I'm going
It's a
based off of
legendary minion though, huh?
it is legendary.
Yes, you
Okay.
can only play 1.
So I am going based off mostly Yu-Gi-Oh logic here. Um, when it comes to a card like this, it's a lot of cost for it's a lot of cost for I don't know how much reward. It is strong, and it's the fact that it's at the end of each turn, it buffs itself. From what I can tell, though, it doesn't have any protection. I don't know if that matters in Hearthstone.
Hearthstone has removal spells and board wipes, just not at instant speed. There are some instant speed cards, but those are like random.
Okay.
Like they trigger at a certain like you play them like a trap card, but they trigger on their own when the activation timing is met. So you can choose when to use them. It's like the first timing you get, you have to.
All right. So I'm gonna say this is a staple
And why is that?
just because of my limited knowledge. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going off the effect, since the board wipes aren't like, mostly you said, like, I'm assuming they're like quick play spells.
Yeah, there's no quick play. No, there's only
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just know. Oh, minions have summoning sickness, so they can't attack the turn they're played unless they have an ability that dodge
oh,
them.
they can't attack the turn they're
Yeah,
played.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Ooh, that changes things. Hold on.
Unless they have haste, that with haste they
Uh-huh.
can attack the turn they played, and with rush they can attack another minions, but not the opponent's face.
Okay. I'm gonna I think I'm gonna say stinker now.
Stinker. Well, what changed your
Yeah.
opinion?
The fact that they can't attack the turn they're played.
Yeah, but like infinite value.
Yeah, it does
Infinite,
have infinite. It does have infinite value. I have no idea
infinite
about like
value.
all the effects in Hearthstone. So like, if there's some effect that protects it, then great. But just by itself, I'm gonna say stinker.
Okay, so yeah, this card is horrible. No one plays
Okay.
this card. This is like one of the worst legendaries in the game. This card is horrible. It does nothing.
All
You pay
right.
8
All
mana for
right.
something like it's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we go to the next card, which is Patches the Pirate. So Patches the Pirate is a 1 mana 1/1 demon pirate. It's a legendary minion, and it says after you play a pirate, summon this minion from your deck.
Okay. So
Hmm.
again, that reminds me of. It's basically a special summon.
Yeah.
Um. So after you play a pirate, summon this mid. So I'm guessing this is a class of cards.
It's not a class card, but it is like a travel card.
Well, I was saying
It's
like
like
the pirate. yeah, the pirates are like an
Yeah,
archetype.
not an archetype, but more like for example, Aqua or
Oh, okay,
Fairy
okay.
or
I see.
Fiend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay. So, after you play a pirate, summon this minion from your deck. How many copies of cards can you have in your deck?
2 each unless it's legendary. Then you can have 1 each.
Okay, 2 each unless it's legendary, then you can have 1 each. All right. So, if I play a pirate card and I have 2 of these in my deck, I can summon both.
And you can only play 1 because it's legendary because the orange crystal.
Oh, I see. I forget it's a legendary. Oops.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. I don't know, like, since you have mana, I don't think there's a need to sacrifice unless, like, the card says so for an effect.
Yeah, basically.
Not like tribute summoning in YuGiOh.
No, you just pay the mana and that's it.
Yeah. So, this thing sounds just like free value. I don't know how many creatures you're allowed to have out at one time.
7 if I'm right.
7, okay. 7. Yeah, because the most you can have in YuGiOh is 7, but that's really hard to achieve. I don't know how hard it is to achieve in Hearthstone.
It depends on the deck. Like if you're swarming the field with an aggro deck, maybe, probably, but like you're getting 7 big things on the board is like either you're playing some cheese or like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This for me it just sounds like free value. So I'm gonna go with staple.
Yeah, so Patches is probably one of the strongest cards in the game ever printed.
Okay.
It used to have charge, so it could just hit your opponent even turn 1, going first.
It used to have charge?
Yeah, then they removed it, but it's still really strong because it's free. In a game where cards cost mana, being able to play YuGiOh and just play your cards for free is so broken.
Yeah, that's what I was considering. It just sounds free.
Yeah, it used to have charge. Now it doesn't have charge, but it's still really strong. It's run in every deck that runs like some cheap pirates. The only time it sucks is when you draw it, because then you have to play 1 mana 1/1 that does nothing.
Yeah, but yeah, other than that, it sounds really good.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay, so for the next card, we have Both Ram Shield. Both Ram Shield is a 6 mana 3/9 legendary minion, and it reads whenever your hero takes damage, this minion takes it instead.
Whenever your hero takes damage, this minion takes it instead. Okay, so is the hero you or is the hero another creature?
You are the hero. Every class is a hero, and every class has a hero power. It's not that relevant. Basically, you can spend 2 mana to do something, like deal 1 damage to something or heal 2 health to something. Just a small effect if you don't have cards or leftover mana for the turn.
Alrighty. So it's got 9. So this card is a wall because it's got 9 health.
Yes, but just remember your opponent can choose what to attack with minions.
Yeah. But this card's got a lot of health, small attack, so it's made for defense, obviously. When the cards in Hearthstone get hit, do they lose that health permanently or do they regain it?
They lose it permanently.
Okay. So if this card was hit with a guy that does 2 damage, it would go down to 7 and stay that.
Yes, but some classes can heal. Priest hero power is restored to health. There's also spells and minions that can heal when they're played. So.
All right. 6 mana to play. This might be the hardest one yet. Because just because of like, I don't think there's a defense position like there is in YuGiOh.
Nope.
But when it comes to this, it kind of sounds like if you just hit it a few times, it's not gonna do very well. So I'm gonna say stinker.
Stinker. So, if you hit the opponent though, this will take damage. So you can hit your opponent and damage this without your minions taking damage. Even with that though, this card is horrible. Because it gives your opponent a choice. As you might know in YuGiOh, cards that give your opponent the choice are not good because they can decide whatever is best for them. Also, I did it on purpose. In Hearthstone, cards with taunt exist. Taunt is an ability, and you have to kill this minion first before hitting your opponent. It's the same, but like they don't get a choice. It also protects your other minions. It's just straight up better. This is horrible.
I see. I got it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm learning there are just like general effects that are applied to certain monsters. Okay.
Yeah. There's like keywords like in Magic where you're flying and this and that. So.
I see.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Next card. Number 4. Sir Finling Sea Guide. Sir Finling Sea Guide is a legendary minion 1/3. One heads up is like I'm trying to give neutral minions that every class can play for the first time. Mainly there's some class minions in here, but I wanted to give like something generic, not you have to guess like some synergy, Too much, but Sir Finling is a 1-mana 1/3. Battle Cry swaps your hand with the bottom of your deck. Yeah.
So, okay. So
it's magical mana, kind of.
Yeah. So if I have 3 cards in hand, so what activates Battle Cry?
You have to play it from your hand. If you summon it back, it doesn't trigger it. Specifically when you play it from your hand.
Okay, so it has to be Battle Cries when you're playing it from the hand. Okay. So swap your hand with the bottom of your deck. So if I have 3 cards in hand, I put them back and I draw the 3 of bottom of my deck.
Yes.
Okay. Honestly, to be able to redraw, like, let's say you draw this card and you draw, like, a crappy hand, if you draw it, yeah, because this is just, like, a free mulligan, because
not really, because you do go -1. Well, you get a 1/3, but...
Yeah.
You have to pay 1 mana and you play 1/3, so you kind of go -1, basically.
Okay. It
just like
does sound... Yeah. It does sound... It is a low cost, though. So I'm thinking that this is a staple, just because if you do have, like, let's say you have a hand with very high costing cards, then this just gives you a do-over for the rest of your hand. So I'm gonna say this is a staple.
Yeah, this card is really strong. It's not played in every deck, but it's played in, like, combo decks that want to dig for something, or decks that can make copies of stuff. Let's say you can make, like, a bunch of cheap copies of something in your hand and you play this. And you basically have these fake cards you just made, like tokens, but in your hand. That's how Hearthstone works. Copies and tokens can be in your hand, and you shuffle those back and you draw a bunch of actual cards you want, and they always go to the bottom, so you're guaranteed to not draw those again, like with Mallet. It's a really strong card.
Okay, I see. I haven't gotten one wrong yet. Let's go.
Okay, so for the next card, we have Ragnaros the Fire Lord. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Ragnaros the Fire Lord, but it's a pretty popular character. Ragnaros.
Ragnaros the Fire Lord. Okay, it's 8 all around. Can't attack, so that kind of sucks. At the end of your turn, deal 8 damage to a random enemy. So you don't have the chance to deal damage to yourself, which is good. And it's random. But that's a high cost. Yeah, this is hard because it has decent stats, but it's a high cost, but it can't attack.
Good stats for the cost, am I right? Good stats for the cost.
Yeah,
Hearthstone players will get it.
Yeah, it really is. It's good stats for the cost, from what it looks like. But
yeah, what's good about the 8 damage is it doesn't have to hit something and take damage in return. Because when you attack something, you take their attack in return.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say this is a staple.
Okay, so Ragnaros is a really cool card.
Okay.
But it's not that good anymore.
It's not.
It used to be when the game was new, having a big thing, having a big finisher. But now it dies to removal. It's RNG. It's not the removal you need when you really need removal. Like, let's say you want to get rid of an aggro board, and it's random. It might pop up in some like cheese decks, mini decks, but even in those big decks, there's better options. It used to be good, but these days it's outclassed.
I see. All right. So it's the Dark Magician of Chaos. I see.
Visually, it's yeah.
Yeah, because Dark Magician of Chaos was like the big finisher
It was
you
like the
drop at the
big
end of the
thing.
game.
Yeah,
And
visually.
now it's just like you're only playing it if you're playing some weird jank strategy. Alright,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a cool card, but not anymore that good.
Dang, alright, I got one wrong. Shoot.
So now we go to card number 6. Card number 6 is Trogzor the Earthing Eater. Trogzor the Earthing Eater is a 7 mana 6/6. It says whenever your opponent casts a spell, summon a Burly Rookjaw Trog. And the Burly Rookjaw Trog is a card that says whenever your opponent casts a spell, it buffs himself. It's a 4 mana 3/5 and it gains 2 attack.
Okay.
Whenever your opponent casts a spell. So, you have a 7 mana 6/6. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, summon a 3/5 that gains +2 attack whenever your opponent casts a spell.
Okay. Again, this just sounds like if your opponent plays a spell, then it's just basically free value.
You don't just summon something, but the things you summon also get bigger when you play spells.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds as though spells are very relevant in this game.
Spells are relevant because, well, like, there's locations, but generally they're, like, almost the only other, like, outside of minions. YuGiOh has traps and spells and quick plays, but here it's mainly just spells. And secrets also can be spells. Locations are kind of like continuous cards, but they're more niche. And you have hero cards that replace your hero, but generally, most known creature spells is all spells. Most non-monster cards,
Yeah, because in Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, there's different classifications of monsters, there's different classifications of spells and traps. But in this one...
You have 4 card types, basically. Minion, spell card, location, and hero card. But hero cards are often ran like 1 or 2 copies per deck, if any.
Okay.
And locations are like very niche. Depends on the deck.
Again, yeah, so if spells are the most commonly played thing apart from minions, I'm gonna say this is a staple.
Okay, so for Trogzor, this card is horrible.
Oh dang!
Okay. It's literally just Gruel, but different. You know, it's you play it, like infinite value. Okay, your opponent can just play a minion or kill it or trade into it, or you can just protect. It's the same thing as Gruel. You play it, you're like infinite value, but it just doesn't work. It's too slow. Your opponent gets to attack it with their minions. They're not forced to like play a spell.
Yeah, they're not forced to. True. And and it is a later game thing because it requires 7.
Yeah, 7. And even if they cast 1 spell to kill this, then like okay, you go do 1 thing still, but like, is that like niche situation? Is that worth it? No.
Yeah, true. Huh. All right.
Okay, so for card number 7, we have Dirty Rat. Dirty Rat is a 2 mana 2/6 with taunt. It has Battle Cry. Your opponent summons a random minion from their hand.
Dirty Rat, okay. So, your opponent summons a random minion from their hand, and this is at no cost to the opponent?
Yes, for free.
And taunt means that only this one can be attacked, yes?
Unless you have multiple with taunt, yes.
Then they can choose, okay.
Then they can choose which taunt minion to attack first, but yeah, it's a 2/6 with taunt. The only thing is when they summon it, it doesn't trigger battle cries because that's when it's played, but they still get to summon a random minion. It's random though.
Alright, Mr. Dapper Rat. Let's see. I mean, because if your opponent has a, like, big minion in their hand, like, again, I don't know all the cheese, or all the strategies. I said all the cheese, and I'm talking about a rat.
Yeah, like, you could just pull out the Ragnaros, you know, on turn 2. That's how this guy works.
Yeah,
You'd also pull out something small. It's just completely random. There are some big minions played, like, big minions are played, just some of the ones I've showed you are not that good. Ragnaros is probably the most playable out of those.
Yeah, so again, I don't know if there's like a cheese strategy where it involves you summoning your opponent's monsters in order to kill them. Because I know that there are
You could
strategies
do
like that
that,
in
but
Yu-Gi-Oh.
like that would just have you burn removal though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's about tempo. Like Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have tempo as much. Your tempo matters more because like things cost mana. It's not just the cards you spend; it's also like the mana you have to spend.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
Basically,
say.
the way this card is designed
Uh-huh.
is it's a 2/6 for 2 with 2/6 with taunt for 2, which is like that's incredibly cheap for 2. Like you should get like a 2/3 with taunt for the 2 mana, but like you get the upside of having a bigger taunt minion early, but your opponent gets a minion, a random one, and you can't know what it is.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say this is. I'm gonna say this is. I'm gonna say this is a stinker.
Okay, so this card is like very good.
Oh my god.
Because the way this card is played, this card is not played to have a taunt early. That was the intention. You can still do that when you match up into an aggro deck. I play this card myself, and quite a lot of decks. It's pretty good against aggro decks. Like you get a taunt early, that's pretty good. But that's not the reason you play it. The reason you play it is to pull out their combo pieces. Because let's say your deck revolves around looping like a certain minion in a combo. Like mage decks like to do. Okay, you just pull it out and kill it. How are you gonna win?
Yeah. Okay.
Think of it like I don't know, like Kashtira banishing your extra deck. You know.
Oh, don't even remind me of Kashtira. Oh
You're
god.
banishing your extra. That's basically what this does. Basically.
Oh.
That's what you're trying to
God.
do. You're trying to pull out this stuff so they can't use it. Their win conditions.
Every time with Kashtira, it's like my access code. Why?
Yeah, basically that's how you feel when this card gets used against you and you get unlucky.
Okay. I see.
Yeah, I wanted to see if you would guess like the application of this card because people are not using it for the reason it got made. They're using it to pull out combo pieces.
Like I said, I don't know all the mechanics, so I didn't know there were looping strategies.
No, it's not just combo. It's like win cons. Some decks just rely on like their big like in theme minion. There's some like the thematic legendary and you pull that out and you take away one of their win cons. It's really good for that.
I see. All right.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna go to card number 8, which is Reno Jackson. Reno Jackson is a 6 mana 4/6. His effect is Battle Cry. If your deck has no duplicates, fully heal your hero back to 30 health, or however many health you may have. Full health. Yeah, it's a 6 mana minion, heals you to full health, but your deck has to have no duplicate copies in it.
I mean, I feel like that's very doable. How many cards can you have in the deck again?
30.
30?
Yes.
Okay.
You can have up to 2 cards of each, but legendary is only 1. So if you want to make Reno work, you can have up to 1 card of each, basically.
I honestly feel like that's very, very doable, especially with a deck with because you know in Yu-Gi-Oh the limit is 40 to 60. But with this game, since it's only 30, I feel like it's very doable to just play 1 copy of each card. Oh god.
Yeah, it's just worth it though. Like losing the consistency. Instead of playing
Yeah,
all your best cards twice, you have to play them once and then play the second best cards.
Yeah, so although sometimes the second best cards are like the game enders, or at least in Yu-Gi-Oh that's the case. You wouldn't expect to lose to some of the cards you do.
Yeah, it's a defensive card too. It's like it heals you, but it doesn't really it doesn't help you win. It basically fully heals your life.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say this is a staple.
Okay, so Reno Jackson is one of the first cards released in like a series of cards that say if your deck has no duplicates.
Oh no!
Do this.
When I hear one of the first cards released, that's not a good sign.
So he was released in the League of Explorers, and people tried to make decks around him. They called them Reno decks or like Highlander decks because of Magic the Gathering. Where they use decks with like Elder Dragon Highlander with only one copy each. Reno is a very good card.
Oh, okay.
Because Reno, you can basically make a big control pile with all the Reno cards. You have like do this, and then you have another one that says do this unique thing. You have like not all of them are good though, but you can make a good control pile. Usually it's control because the cards lend themselves to value. You know, like you lose consistency, but you gain value in return with the Reno type of cards. Well, you can only have one of each card in your deck. And so Reno was the first one, so we call those Reno decks.
Okay.
Decks where you only have one of each copy. And they're so good that some decks even try to sometimes counter them. They like play like this Albatross. It's like a 4 mana 4/3 I think. And on Battlecry it shuffles like 2 1/1s into your opponent's deck. Which if they draw them it sucks, but like it also shuts off all these cards.
Okay.
And so these cards are so good that like they spawn their own deck type around it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Alright.
No, not all of them are good though, but some of them are.
Yeah. This guy's good.
This guy's good for sure because it's like when you're playing a control pile, healing to full spaceship. There's many times where you know you're on like turn 5 and you're almost finished, and your opponent like they don't have much left, but it doesn't matter. You're about to die and you play this, and they have like 2 cards on board, nothing in hand, and they're like, okay, I'll give up. Like I can't choose to 30 health while you still have removal. This is a really good card.
Okay. Woo! Alrighty.
Card number 9. And here we have one of my favorite characters from World of Warcraft, and Warcraft in general. I always picked him in Warcraft 3, okay? Always had to pick him. Nubarag. It's a rogue card, from the rogue class. The fact that it's a rogue card doesn't matter much right now. It's an 8 mana 8/4 Deathrattle. Summon a 4/4 Nerubian with Deathrattle, summon a Nubarag. Deathrattle means when it dies.
Okay. So when this thing dies, summon a 4/4 4/4 Nerubian with Deathrattle, and that Deathrattle summons this guy back.
Yeah. And when you kill him, you summon the 4/4, and when you kill the 4/4, you summon him.
I mean, this thing is a high cost, but it sounds like it's it sounds like it's a loop, which that sounds deceiving, because it sounds like it may be too slow, because you're like you said, your opponent can just choose not to attack it if you have multiple creatures.
That is true, but you can, it has pretty low health, so you could just ram it into your opponent's minion, and there's a reasonable chance it'll die soon, because that's why it has like low health compared to its attack.
Yeah. Oh man. It sounds like a good loop. It sounds like a value loop. But again, I don't know if like I don't know if there's like a banish equivalent in this game.
Not really. There's not even a graveyard in this game. They'll just go, well, there is a banish equivalent, which is just disappear. It's not used often though. There's something like, yeah, but there's no like graveyard zones or enemy zones except the board really. Disappear just means it goes outside of the grave pool, which is like the pool where if you play resurrect a random minion or something.
Let's see.
But that's like, I can name like 2 cards in my head right now that do that. And both are hero cards, and do it only when you play them.
Ooh, I'm gonna say, wow. I don't know. I'm thinking it may be too slow, but at the same time, it just sounds like a loop. So I'm just gonna say this is a stinker.
Okay, so yeah, this card is not good as much as I wanted to be good.
Okay.
It recently got buffed. It used to say Deathrattle, summon a 4/4 Nerubian and return this to your hand. So you would have to play it for 8 mana again, every single time.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, now you get it for free, but the thing is, there's a way to like abilities. It's called silence. And you silence something, it has no abilities anymore. That's not the biggest issue though. Even if this works, and your opponent can't ignore it if they want to kill you. They can just if their control deck is, it's just one big thing. It's not a big of deal.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be good, but
If an Uberak has taunt, if it had taunt, this could be playable maybe, but no, without taunt, you're not, no. If it had taunt, maybe. They recently released like a warrior card, kind of like this. It says if it dies, if you have armor, if you have armor, you lose 3 armor, and you summon it again if it dies. I don't know if it has taunt. I kind of forgot. I can't find it right now, but that card is also not played.
okay.
It's a little sad because it's a cool idea, right? Infinite value.
Yeah.
But it's just like, no.
I can think of so many cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That are like, that's a cool idea, and it sucks.
Yeah, like... Okay, so... now we go to card number 10, which will be the final and last card.
Alright.
Which is Asset Mall. Asset Mall is a hunter card. It's a 7 mana, 4/2. Wait, it's not 7 mana. It should be 4 mana. Oops. Well, it's a 4 mana. I'm pretty sure it's 4 mana. Let me look. Oh, it's 3 mana. A 3 mana 4/2. And it says, whenever an enemy minion takes damage, destroy it.
Ooh, okay. That's just like if a minion the damage doesn't even have to kill it. It just die.
Yeah, it's like it takes 1 damage from anything.
But that also goes for your own.
It also goes for your own.
Let's see. So it's 3 mana.
Yes, 3 mana for 2.
I mean, if you have spells that deal damage to your opponent's minions, then I feel like this would be decent.
Hunter does have quite a lot of like pingers, if you know what a pinger is. Like give like an arrow, it deals 1 damage and summons a 1/1 with charge or something. You have quite a lot of ways to just ping stuff for 1 with Hunter. This is a Hunter card, it's good to know, like there's lots of ways to just ping.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say, again, this sounds like it could be very bad, but at the same time, I want to say it's good. This kind of sounds like one of those cards that whenever it hits the board, your opponent just like cries a little. I want to say this is a staple. I'm gonna go with that.
Okay, so you kinda got spoiled already. It used to be 7 mana. Now it's 3 mana. It's still not good.
Ah, okay.
You need other cards to make it good. I don't think it's bad, but there's just no like Hunter control pinging deck to run it in.
Yeah.
Like you could like, I don't think it's horrible right now, but like the problem is there's no real deck that wants this. Hunter is usually more aggressive, and even the pinging decks, like they just want to kill you with spells, right? So, and this could see play in the future maybe. But it even like it's not 3 instead of 7, and it still isn't played. So at the moment, it ain't it. It's not good.
Ah, dang. All right. I got that one wrong. Dang. All right.
Okay, so those are all the cards. What do you think about Hearthstone so far? Just looking at this.
It sounds very interesting. It does sound like there's, just like in Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a meta and a non-meta.
Yeah.
And then there's like that weird in-between.
Yeah, like, it's less harsh than Yu-Gi-Oh, like.
Yeah, it sounds a lot less harsh.
You can play like some scuffed decks and still do well compared to Yu-Gi-Oh, where like if I play my weather painters and I don't go first and I queue into Snake Eyes, it's like over.
I know, it's like with Earth Machines, if I'm not allowed to like get my combos off, then it's just like, oh well. I love Earth Machines, that's my favorite deck to play, even though it's not super competitive.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you might want to be here on again.
Mm-hmm.
I will probably do more of these. We'll have different card games, different players from different card games.
Yeah.
Hearthstone, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic mainly, because that's what I play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it for today, and we'll all see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.